everyone, I'm Holly and I am the soap maker here at Missouri River Soap, and I am back with my second batch of 2022 to make a lavender blend. It's going to be lavender, rosemary, and peppermint, and oh my goodness, it smells amazing. So I am going to add into my base oils some goat milk. I like to just use a portion of milk instead of using a full milk lye solution. I just like to add a little bit of the goat milk to my base oils. It gives it that creaminess, a little bit of extra super fat. I just don't have to deal with freezing the goat milk, doing the super slow lye solution bit. I prefer it this way. That's how I operate. So that's what I'm doing again today. So I'm going to burp the stick blender, and then I'm going to go ahead and get the goat milk dispersed into the oils. Now my base oils are olive and coconut, castor, and cocoa butter. That's just my favorite blend. And so I'm going to add in now the lye solution. There's a little bit of lye lint because it was a pre-made lye solution. My water that I mix with the sodium hydroxide is reduced to accommodate my sodium lactate and the goat milk. So that tends to cause lye lint to be a little bit more in abundance. Plus I have temperature changes, so that's something I have to consider in as well. Now the lye lint is simply just the sodium hydroxide reacting to the carbon dioxide in the air to create sodium carbonate. And sometimes it can be a little bit crunchy, and then I strain it out. If it's a very fresh lye solution, I don't strain it out because it mixes right in. So in we go. What gets strained out is just very, 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 very little. And now I am going to just burp my stick blender and bring this to emulsification. Seems it is time to retire this Cuisinart stick blender. Has a little bit of a vibration that I'm not loving. I'm going to stir this a bit and see what I think. It's warm enough up here today that I don't believe I have to worry about any false trace. So I'm going to pour some off. And I did not pour well with my first batch of the year. So we'll see how this one goes. We will see. All right, here goes. I think I needed to get a little higher. There we go. I'm gonna make this pretty full. Good. This is going to be kind of a different design. I'm going to set this to the side. Into this picture, I'm going to put in some Pow Pow Purple from Mad Micas. And I'm hoping that my design goes well and that my essential oil blend doesn't accelerate at all. So I'm hoping that I have enough colorant here for what I'm wanting to do, because sometimes purple will just go gray if you don't have enough. Hopefully I don't need to mix any more. Sometimes you can get pockets of color. Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. This is good. This is a great colorant. I love it. I know it's normal to use like a more natural colorant for essential oil soaps, but I just wanted the color and I just wanted to go with that natural, non-fragranced scent. So even though it's essential oils, I'm still going to have fun with it. So I've split off what I need for this picture. Had to do some calculations. And that is a mixture of lavender and rosemary and peppermint. Oh my goodness, it's so good. Do a little bit of a different design today. I have in mind a couple of uneven, doesn't help if you put the stick blender back into the soap when you're trying to clean it off. Oh, that is so thin still. Great. That's good. So now I know what I need to work with it, but I really do need it thicker than that. All right, so this is bringing it to a light trace now. So I have a design in mind, but I'm not going to be overly picky if we don't end up with that design. What I'm going to do for starters is just pour in some of this purple, make a layer. I was hoping it would set up for me a little bit, but it is quite thin. Before I pour it on, I will see if I can texture it. If not, it'll just be swirly. So I'm going to put in a little bit of titanium dioxide and lighten it up. Let's see if I can texture this at all. Not really. It's pretty thin, so I'm just gonna hold for a moment because we're doing all right. All right, so I guess I'll go ahead and just keep going. It's not really thick enough to texture, but I want to be able to finish my batch, so we'll just see how it goes. I'm going to try to just kind of flood some on, and that is going to sink in a little. You know, I just think it's going to be, I'm not doing this very well, hold on. I just think it's going to be very beautiful. Maybe I can, yeah. I've struggled a little bit here. The problem is that my picture is tall and I'm trying to work clear down here in the mold. Let's see, let's try this. Sometimes I'm not always the most coordinated of people. Not really. My base of this big old picture is causing me problems. So what we'll do, we're just gonna kind of give it just a little bit of a, maybe just a little bit of a move about. So it's gonna be different than I wanted to do, but it's all right. Not overly concerned about that. I'm gonna add in the remainder of the titanium dioxide. Now see, this one is getting quite thick in all the dilly-daddling. So as one would expect, I get less coordinated the more rushed I feel. I'm feeling a little bit rushed, but I think it's all right. All right, let's see what we can do here. See if we can make any bit of a texture. A little bit, just a little. going to attempt this process again. Don't laugh at me too hard with my uncoordination. It's a little easier to flood on once it gets thicker, that's for sure. Ah. Oh, goodness gracious. I am a mess. Things are getting seriously wackadoodle around here. It's all right. Note to self, do not use the massive pitcher for flooding because it's not very convenient. Oh, this will be fine. All right, so there's quite a bit of this purple, so that's gonna be a little awkward looking, maybe. A little uneven. Rolling with it. You know, with soap, you just have to go with the flow. Especially if you don't like over-plan it out. Now, I over-plan batches sometimes and I get a better result, but like this one is not over-planned, so it's more of a go with the flow situation. So it's not quite turning out as I thought it would, but it is plenty acceptable. I love this purple color, my goodness. The purple couldn't have been more perfect. So what I need to do, I need to clean off my edges and such. Make sure we're all shimmied about fairly even here. And then I'm gonna kind of clean up just a little bit and then I'll come back to finish this. I just cannot get over how yummy this smells. Oh, so good. So I'm putting in some mint julep from Mad Micah's. I just thought that would be really pretty. It was something I was inspired to do. Not too bad. Look at that. I thought maybe it was getting too thick, but it's not too bad. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. And because this is setting up so much, this is going to pour on really nicely. All right, swish some up on the sides to bring the uncolored down. Good. And then I'm just going to stir in the remainder of the fragrance here. It's amazing. It's not overly lavender-like, it's not overly rosemary, it's not overly peppermint. They just are playing just beautifully together. We'll have to see how they turn out, you know, once it's cured, but golly, it smells good. So I do want to blend this just a little bit. Well, unfortunately, I think my little stick blender and I have come to the end of our journey together. It is super noisy. It must have some parts coming loose in there or something. I don't know. We have done a lot, those stick blenders and I. I have 2 of them. I might try the other motor, but I think it had given itself up too. All right, so you can see, oh golly, that is the prettiest purple ever. You can see it's all very solid. I'm just going to, I don't have enough hands to hold this and to do the flooding, so I'm just gonna pour it on one end and hope it doesn't sink in too much, and then just let the rest flood over. Beautiful. Just beautiful. I did end up pulling a little bit of the purple out. I forgot that I wanted to add just a little bit of the purple on the top. That is very thin. We'll see how that's going to go with the thicker of the other on the top. I may have to abandon it. Because this is quite quite a different texture. Titanium dioxide will accelerate soap just a little bit, so that's part of it. Plus all the extra stick blending, mixing in all those batches of the titanium dioxide. Plus the essential oil blend has been sitting in it longer, etc. That's just how it goes. Had a little bit of uncolored soap there at the bottom, so that is mixing in. All right, so, all right, I'm going to put it in. It's falling in a little bit, but here in just a moment or two, once I have it all in, I'm just going to texture it with a spoon. All right, so I decided to try using this little silicone stirring stick to kind of just move those blobs around for now. And then I will still come in with the spoon because they're not the prettiest as is. I just wanted to move that soap around. So now I'm just going to take my spoon and move it around. Sometimes playing with textures can be really fun. Other times they can turn out a little weird, kind of like this, but it's okay. I did not exactly know how it was all going to play out, so we're just rolling with it. It's a hint globby. It's not wanting to move around with it. Once it's all solidified, I actually think it's going to look very cool. Have to think of the big picture. I probably should have added just a little bit of oil or a little bit of water to kind of thin it out a little bit. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. And then kind of just swirl it. I feel like that's going to make it look just a hint better. Bring some texture, swirly texture on the top. I'm still very happy with it. Not always the vision, but I can adjust my vision. Yes, I love the swirls. That looks really pretty. And it's just subtle, which is what I wanted. So I got that going for me. Anywho's it's go with the flow. All right, I think I'm just gonna go with this and not overdo it. I don't want to mix those colors in too much and create a gray. Right now with my goggles on, which distorts everything, it does look pretty good. So I think I will be happy with it. So here we have, I don't know what I'm going to call it. It's a lavender, rosemary, peppermint soap made with goat milk, and I will be back for the cut. It's time to cut this lavender soap, and it turned out so nice. I really love it. It smells so amazing. And I've already cut a loaf, and then I have 4 more here. So we're going to cut a little end piece. Let's see, let's go about there. Oh yes, it looks so nice. I just love how it turned out. It wasn't quite what I imagined it would be. I didn't quite execute my design as I wanted to. I think it turned out really nice, and it smells even better. Oh my. I have learned to love lavender as I got into soap making. I prefer blends though, and this blend of lavender and rosemary and mint is very good. That is a very happy blend. So these are shorter than my bigger loaves, so I don't get quite as much out of them. but we get some nice samples. I get 10 bars out of each loaf, and then I cut a sample here. Not super duper well, but I got it done. So I'm just really loving this scent, and I can't wait for it to cure so that I can actually start using it myself. Oh, it's so pretty. Now I will show you one other thing that ended up being a bit awkward. Did I show you the top? Because the tops are just beautiful. Can't remember if I did show you, but the top, I just love it. And none of the colors are like super bright or anything. They're just kind of calm and peaceful as lavender is supposed to be. And like, look at this one. I just love it. It smells so good. I just love you, little soap. You're so cute and comforting. So, yeah, look at that. Isn't that cool? I like that design. That kind of is subtle, but it gives a little bit of a variation. Now the wonky doodle thing that I was going to show you, and I'm not seeing it super lot. It looks like I got a little bit of separation. I suspected that this one was going to heat up pretty good. I don't know if you can see it. It's like right here. There's just like a little bit of color separation, almost like a glycerin river when you're using titanium dioxide. But the little, remember how firm, I mean, it was like moments ago for you. It was just, the purple was so much more firm than the green. So it did leave little more blobby bits, but it's all right. We will go with the flow on that one and not worry about it at all. I mean, lavender's peaceful anyway, right? It's like peaceful and refreshing, and life's too short to get all wound up about a soap design, if you know what I'm saying. But in the end, it is pretty close to what I imagined, so I am cool with it. All right, so here we have, oh, see, now that really shows you the blob there. You can really see that blob. I tried to get my little swirler dealio into that and move it around, but it didn't quite work out. But anywho's, here we have, I don't know what I'm going to call it exactly, but the lavender, mint, and rosemary soap. I'm sitting here looking at myself in the camera, seeing if I'm getting like my hands all even. Oh, I gotta go this way. Anyway, here we have this delightful soap. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.